Hello, friends. Welcome to episode 23 of your Story Within podcast. I swear I got to drink more coffee and get that down. Today, we're going to talk about education. And do you need a degree? Do you not need a degree? What is the deal? So to help me talk about this wonderful topic, I have Melanie Lemus with me today. Let me bring her on. Hey, Mel, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So I thought this would be a perfect topic for us to bounce back and forth on, since we've both dabbled in formal education and informal education. And
I think you and I are both very passionate about this topic because we are continual learners. We never feel satisfied with our current knowledge base. And so we are always trying to expand, but you can't constantly be paying to go to school. So today what we're going to be talking about is different ways that you can get an education without formal education.
Yes, you're right. We can't keep paying, even though I'm still paying off my doctoral school loan, but I'm really close to being done with that now. But no, this was also a good topic because I get so many job seekers asking, do I need to get that degree? Do I have to go back to school to be competitive? What about that certification? And then on the author side, kind of the same thing. Do I need a journalism degree or creative writing degree to be able to write? So what a perfect topic, education. All right, so let's jump in. Now you wrote a blog article for Vision to Purpose.
I did, yes. It's called Ease for Education. Yeah, and so this stems from my all-time favorite saying, and I don't know if I made it up, it's very possible, or if I read it somewhere and just like really internalized it. But I love the saying, you don't have to have a degree to have an education, because why is a book that you paid to read going to teach you more than that same book if you don't pay to read it? It doesn't make sense, right? And what I mean is, like, you pay to read these books in school, and granted, you can like discuss it with your professor and whatever. But I mean, honestly, like nowadays, oftentimes the professor, you don't get a ton of feedback. And if all these courses are online, you don't get this like extensive discourse with your peers. You're not really missing out on a lot, but yeah, so you don't have to have a degree to have an education. And once I'll tell a little story. One time I walked into a doctor's office. I was taking my daughter in for, she has had chronic nosebleeds since she was 2 years old. And the same thing happened to my older sister and my husband's younger brother. It's just like, it just happens. I've never had a nosebleed in my life. Neither has my husband, but she gets them all the time. And so I took her in, and I had done extensive research and been dealing with it for probably 10 years at that point. And the doctor, he had this very, like, you don't know anything kind of a air about him. And then I saw a mug on his shelf that said, your Google degree does not equate to my doctorate. And I was like, Roger that. So he tried telling me that we needed to run like all these tests on her to make sure she didn't have a bleeding disorder. I was like, well, I'm pretty sure she doesn't have a bleeding disorder because 1, regular wounds heal. 2, she doesn't bruise easily. 3, and I like listed all these things that would be present if you had like a bleeding disorder. And he's like, well, she wanted to get like the insides cauterized so it stopped bleeding. It was just like, anyway, he was so pompous about it and just did not respect that I was educated on the topic. And it just really like ruffled my feathers. Clearly, I never went back to him. But, this whole thing, do you have to have a degree to be educated? Absolutely not. So Janine, I know we're going to apply this to the job search, of course, and career progression. But before we do that, do you want me to run through some avenues to like some different websites and stuff that offer free courses? Or do you want to talk about why we should do it? Why we should take these courses first?
No, let's go ahead and jump right in, and I'll put them on the screen so we don't forget any of them.
Sounds good. Okay, so there's a couple of them. There's, like you can see on the screen, Coursera, Teachable, Udemy, edX, LinkedIn Learning, Khan Academy, and would you say that Udacity?
Udacity or
Udacity. Udacity? I don't know. Udacity. That's how I would say it.
Right.
And do you have much experience with any of these?
So Teachable, yes, as I also have a resume course on there. So
Yes.
I created the Breathe Life into Your Resume, the book, which is here, but I have a course that I posted on Teachable. So that's the one I have probably the most back-end knowledge with, on.
Right.
But Udemy, I gotta say, is probably one of my favorites. For me personally, because I can't tell you how many courses I've downloaded just to help me as a business owner. Forget, all of the other stuff I do, but as an entrepreneur, trying to learn how to do some marketing, developing, graphics and whatever. I mean, I can get all the Adobe Creative Suite tools like Photoshop, Illustrator, do some of the video programs with Premiere and you name it. I love it because I can get the courses for like $4.99.
Yeah.
Where if I go to Adobe and try, they give you some free things to help, but the level of some of the instructors, I mean, they're all certified by Adobe, and there's one guy during when the pandemic first hit. He was offering all of his courses for free. And these were like $199 courses that Udemy would drop down to $9.99 or whatever during specials, And he said for whatever month it was, I don't even remember, he said, I'm offering all of my courses for free because I want to help people build the skills they need to jump back in the workforce or work from home to get through the pandemic. Let's get through it together was his attitude, which I appreciated. And I promptly downloaded like 12 courses and I still probably have to take 5 of them, but love it. It's helped me as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
How about you? You downloaded a couple courses, I know.
I did, well. And I don't remember. I feel like it was on Coursera that I did on a video editing, like a new video editing software that we were using. Okay. And then I've also used Khan Academy for homeschool. So Khan Academy is awesome because it has stuff not only for adult learners but also children, and they're amazing. Khan Academy, their whole premise is they want to provide a free education for the world, and they really deliver. They're excellent. Another website that I forgot to put on here is Craftsy, Craftsy, Craftsy. And this one's a little bit, it's a little bit more like the fun side, like crafting, but also there are people who, might have a passion for like a side hustle of baking and decorating cakes on the side or making jewelry or knitting hats, like for, newborns at the hospital, whatever. Craftsy has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of courses. And normally they're, you get all the classes included when you subscribe to the website. And I think the price was like $100 a year, but they've recently been running a deal, $5 for a year.
Oh, wow.
$5 for the whole year. And you get access to all the classes. So I actually just told a friend of ours from church, she really wants to up her game with her side hustle of jewelry making. And so I forwarded her the information, and there's like hundreds of classes on wire wrapping and epoxy and like all the technical things that just concentrate. Sure, you could probably find it if you search around the internet. You could find this here and this here, but have it concentrated all in one space. That's a really awesome resource as well.
Let me add it to our banner. Spell it again.
Craftsy, Craft, like craft, SY.
SY. Okay.
Yes, Craftsy. Yeah. So some of these websites do require a small fee, like you said. Maybe even depending on how extensive the class is, it could be up to $100 or $200. But when you look at like a college course, that's really nothing. But many of these courses are completely free. So go in and, search around. I mentioned in the blog that some of the courses that I saw when I was just scrolling through, and if you go to that blog, it's at visiontopurpose.com, and you scroll down and click on blogs, and you'll find it. E is for education. There's links in that blog for all of these websites. and some of the different courses, like Introduction to Consumer Neuroscience and Neuromarketing. How cool is that?
Yes.
Computer programming, app development, and ethical hacking.
Yes. Well, the IT person in me says, ooh, ethical hacking. But the researcher in me says, ooh, neuroscience. I want to know more about how people think and the brain.
And neuromarketing.
And neuromarketing.
Brainwashing people to
well, I don't want to brainwash anyone, but no, I don't think we should be brainwashing anyone, Melanie. Come on now. But,
okay, fine. But then there's also like the science of well-being, 7 scientifically proven steps to increase your influence, and speed reading. How handy would it be?
I actually took a course on speed reading back in, 1998, I think, when I was at the university. I was at Regent. I worked there and I was getting my MBA, and they offered this speed reading course and the university paid for it. So I spent a whole semester, actually probably just a couple, maybe half a semester, I don't know, learning how to speed read. And
does it work?
Yes, it does. But the thing I did not like about it is you're reading so fast that it kind of takes the emotion out of it. So it was great for my coursework during the MBA program, but it's not so great for fiction when you're trying to feel it and kind of feel like you're part of the story, you know. It just I lost some of that, you know. But
can you turn it off? Like, can you not speed read once you know how?
I can't speed read anymore because now I'm much older, and it's like, what? Let me fix my glasses. I got bifocals in here now. I could probably, you know, think back to, okay, what did they tell me? But, you know, why? I don't need to do it now. But it was good when I was in school, for sure.
We both know my affinity for audiobooks, and I will listen to the audiobooks at 1.5 to 1 3/4 speed because I'm just like, I can talk very fast and I can comprehend very fast. So speed reading, I did bookmark that because I'm going to be reading. Do you see behind me these books? These are just my homeopathy books that arrived this week. I have like dozens more coming. Yeah, so speed reading would really come in handy for those thick boys.
Yes.
I might have to do that one. But so some of these classes, back to the classes, are even from schools like Yale, Stanford, and Harvard, believe it or not.
So that was the wonderful thing about all of this open source learning, if you will, is the major universities came together and said, let's offer this stuff for free. And I remember when it first came out, people were freaking out like, what do you mean you're offering these classes for free? I paid for them. Why are you offering them for free? You know, so there was a big uproar at the beginning, but now it's just a, you know, part of the mission of we want to educate everybody, you know, give everybody an opportunity. Now going to what they call, I think I say it correctly, but a MOOC, which is massive open online courses. And you have it listed here as edX. It's actually MOOC.com is, I think, an extension of that. And that's where a lot of these schools, Harvard, Stanford, you name it, offer these amazing courses. And you really could put, you know, your own customized degree together. Now, you will not get an official degree, but you could literally take the same courses you would if you were enrolled in school. So no longer do you have to go the traditional route. And in fact, you know, Steve Jobs actually got me to think a little differently when he said, how did he say it? He got an education when he dropped out of school. And while he was in school, he struggled because he was forced to take the classes they told him he had to take. So when he dropped out, he could take things like calligraphy. Well, thanks to him doing that, we have fonts. You know, all of the fonts in our computer system is because he took calligraphy and he opened the door to those, you know, these different font features that we can use. So, you know,
that's
do
amazing.
You need a formal education?
Well, that brings up a question that you would be the expert on. So if you don't have a formal degree, but you have this education, how would you reflect that on your resume, or how would you reflect that to your employers if you're already employed and looking to advance your career? How would you apply that?
So there's a couple different things. There's a lot of people now. I'll use my some of my military clientele. A lot of times my military members, they go, they graduate high school, jump right into the military instead of going to college.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the military, sometimes they'll get the GI Bill and then they'll go to college.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they start sometimes they end up, with a great career and they never go to college because the military offers so many different personalized training pipelines for them that they really don't need to go. But then when they get out, when they're transitioning and they see these different positions and it says you need a bachelor's degree, or they prefer a bachelor's degree, or what I tell them is, unless it is a degree that is necessary, for instance, you want to, be an attorney, well, you're going to need a law degree. There's kind of no way around that. Doctor, you kind of need a medical degree. Now, if it just says preferred, we prefer a bachelor's degree, and you don't have one, then we'll list it as professional development, we'll list it as informal education, or we'll just list it as education and note all of those different courses that they've taken so that the prospective employer can see that this person is a lifelong learner. They just didn't go the traditional route. So there's so many different ways that we can note it on a resume that can highlight that you're a learner. Because at the end of the day, employers want to know that you're still able to learn new things. They want to know that because technology is changing the way we live and work. And when, things move so quickly, they want to know that the people they hire can move with that. And they're not afraid of learning new things, especially my older workers, those who are transitioning maybe in their 40s. They want to make
courses online, or even YouTube. I can't tell you the number of things that we have fixed around our house and the probably thousands of dollars that we've saved. Our washing machine lasted for 12 years because my husband took it apart and watched YouTube videos and replaced, he would just fix things, He replaced the $300 computer chip in our washer, or no, it was our dryer. Our dryer is 12 years old and still going. But it was going to cost us $300. He got out his little soldering thing and fixed it for free, and it's still going strong. That he learned that on YouTube.
The same way. He's the same way. Some computer thing messed up on the wash machine, and he did the same thing. He looked on YouTube and he's like, I think it's this whatever component.
There's no excuse for growing stagnant and for your knowledge base to be going out of date.
Right. There's a quote by Jim Rohn that I really like. He said, a formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. And he's true. The statement is true because, like you just said, you can save so much money when you can do something yourself by watching a video instead of paying somebody $300. Now, I will say there's that opportunity cost out there. How much are you making? How much are you willing to pay? Because how much time is it going to take you at the end of the day?
Right.
My husband is a go-getter. He's gonna knock it out and get it done. So it's gonna be a lot cheaper for him to watch that YouTube video and take care of the issue than to go out and buy a new washer or whatever it is. He just changed rotors on our Expedition. That one made me nervous. I'm like, rotors and the brakes, and then I have to drive it. I hope he watched the YouTube video and he really did it correctly. He did.
Chris changed our suspension. He changed the suspension on my car through YouTube. Of course, he grew up, his dad owned an automobile repair shop, and Chris grew up working in it. So he does kind of, and I know Hayden also has like the mechanical, knowledge base as well. But
they're both
it's amazing. Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
It's amazing the things that you can learn how to do.
Absolutely. So, what have we taken away so far? You don't have to go back and get a degree if you don't want one. The programs, as you stated at the beginning of the show, have changed so much. There's so much online learning that's available through the different schools. So a lot of it is, even though there is a professor that facilitates, and I'm one of those professors. I teach online for a couple of universities, actually. And I teach asynchronously, which means I facilitate it. We have discussion threads. I'll go in and, check the discussion threads. I'll grade papers. But for the most part, the students have to read the material, watch the videos and whatnot. So you're kind of, doing your own self-education through a formal institution,
Right.
and some people get really upset about that because they're paying a lot of money
Yes.
to, kind of do it on their own. Now,
Yes.
they do have the safety net in my case that I'm there. I take calls. We'll talk through things. I do some live sessions, but a lot of schools don't do that. It's all asynchronous. Other schools will offer synchronous in the online environment, meaning you got to be there at the same time the professor is, and it's a live class. It's just kind of like a Zoom call, right?
Right. And that's what my school is going to be this fall.
Yes, it's going to be so you have that synchronous piece where it's live. You're just, not co-located. So you do it via Zoom or whatever other tool. And then, of course, face-to-face on campus. A lot of people can't do that. A lot of people, especially those in the workforce, you're trying to make a living. It's hard to get to school. And then a lot of the schools are offering 6 to 10, that's 4 hours in the evening that you're taking away from your family.
Yeah.
So lots of difficulty sometimes to go the traditional route.
Sure.
Well,
I had one more question for you.
Okay.
And that's really all I have left is one more question.
Ooh.
I wanted to know, in your opinion, in your professional, educated opinion, do employers or prospective employers take these types of courses seriously, the non-traditional route education courses seriously?
Yes, they do. Now, there are going to be some employers that are going to take a hard stance on, I want them to have a bachelor's degree. I want that certification. And usually when that occurs, it's because they have the degree and they have, I won't say where it was, but I did work for an employer that I could not advance. Even though I was doing the job, I did not have the degree. And I will say it was an educational institution. I was already doing the job. I was in the position while I was acting. I had done the position for over a year and I did it successfully, but because it was an educational institution and I did not have that degree that they wanted, they would not give me the position. And I thought, well, that's strange. So there's going to be, employers that if it says required, they may take a hard line on that. But for the most part, like I said earlier, a lot of times when these job postings are created, okay, they throw everything in the job posting that they think will make a perfect candidate. However, I always tell my clients, show them that you're the perfect candidate they didn't know they needed. And I can design the resume in a way that tells the story that will resonate with the employer so that they'll want to bring them in for an interview. And then during the interview, they can really highlight in depth some of those courses they've taken, how it's benefited them, and so on and so forth. And what the other thing people don't realize is a lot of times employers will send you to school. If you're that close to having a bachelor's degree, say you're only a semester away, put it on there. Or say you're a year away, you're going to graduate, say it's January, but you don't graduate till December. Put it on there. Just put, 2021. It shows that you're reaching that goal. You just haven't quite got there yet, but they know you've been doing it, so there's ways around it. And yes, there will be some employers that, like I said, will take the hard line, but you don't know unless you put it out there. So,
and it's becoming more and more commonplace to take these types of courses. So I think, employers are also evolving and learning to accept non-traditional routes because education expenses have really gotten out of control and more and more people, I guess I should say less and less people are going that route. So employers are also becoming more flexible as well.
And I will say for the job seeker, especially if you're not taking advantage of your LinkedIn account to its full potential, do it. Go back in there. If you're a military member and you already hold that premium, free premium for a whole year, why are you not taking the LinkedIn learning courses? The courses are amazing. There's a lot of prep courses for the project management professional certification, Six Sigma, all of those certifications employers are seeking. There's all these prep courses. Don't go pay for them. Take them right on LinkedIn Learning. If there's something you've always wanted to do, but you didn't know how to do it, take a course. They have courses that are, 30 minutes to, 8 hours to weeks long. There's a lot of variety. So set yourself up for success. Take the classes. Same for the authors. You don't need to go back to school. Learn from your peers, learn from your colleagues, learn from those who have gone before you. There's plenty of information out there to help you on your path to writing a book. You don't have to go to journalism school. You don't have to be, take all these creative writing classes unless you want to. If you want to take creative writing, absolutely take creative writing, whatever you think you need. But do you need a formal degree to do that? No. And then the last thing I would say is, do you really need to take that class if it's for your business, if it's for like social media, communications? I know strategic communications. I know how to do social media posts, but I also know my time. So I hired a really smart person to get in there and create them for me. And she's on the podcast with me. At some point you can, you can just hire smart people too. So,
like you were saying, it all depends on the trade-off of your time and money. Trade-off. Yeah,
exactly. At this point in my life, Melanie's got me listening to all these audiobooks now. Remember last week or the week before, I don't know.
There's a couple.
One of those weeks, all the episodes are running together now. She shared about all the resources available to get free books. And I love it. I love it. So
there's also a blog that goes along with that has all the links in it.
Yes. So here's it's one of the podcasts for sure. And then as she said earlier, go to visiontopurpose.com and go to blogs, and you'll see all the blogs, and you'll see the blog article that she wrote. And so the audiobooks have been a lifesaver because I think I told you, Melanie, I've been doing all this walking now. I'm so proud of myself.
Like, what is it, like 40 miles a day?
No, not quite that much, but I did 50 miles last week. I'm on target to do another 55-ish this week. And I've been listening to audiobooks. So I keep walking until I finish one or, so I have been doing shorter ones. So I'll grab a short story or, the other day I was listening to a story called The Getaway. And I did not realize that it was about a guy who abducted these girls. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why am I listening to this? But it ended up being a really good, happy ending. And, so it's been helping me just keep focused, keep walking and, listen to. So yes, love it. All right. Well, that's all I have for today. What about you, Mel?
I think that's it.
I think this is one of our shorter episodes. Look at that.
28 minutes.
I know. All right.
Well, to do.
I know. Get it done. I gotta go study a course. I don't know. I gotta go learn something. All right. Well, that's it, friends. So that's it for this week. Next week, same time, same. I always want to say bat channel, but it's not. Same channel, whichever channel you found us on, whether it's Facebook or YouTube. If you're watching it in replay, you might have seen it on our website. Come back. We'll be back next Thursday, 11 a.m. At least I will. Melanie will be on vacation enjoying herself. So I'm a little jealous, but I want her to have fun. So she'll come back all rested and ready to tell me what she's learned on her vacation. I'm sure she'll do lots of hiking and fun stuff. So,
yes.
And then so while she's gone, I'll bring another inspiring guest on who will educate us on a wonderful topic. And I will post that on our website, JanineBennett.com, podcasts, and you'll see the schedule. So next Thursday, 11 a.m. That's it. All right. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.